You're tuned in to Off the Beaten Track, bringing the land of Israel to you wherever you are through the airwaves. To our listeners out there, this is Michelle Levine. She is the SPNI, and I just want to say it's not ISPN or ESPNI, it's SPNI, the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. And Michelle Levine
2 points for getting it right.
Thank you. It was a little bit touch and go in the beginning there, but she's the spokesman. You are the spokeswoman for this wonderful organisation. Is that correct?
Yes, for 7.5 years now.
For 7.5 years. Okay, just give us a quick rundown, because you're not Israeli, obviously.
I do carry a passport and, run for national election. So, yes, I would say I have Israeli citizenship.
So you're Israeli, but you were born in America.
Born in Madison, Wisconsin.
Uh-huh. There Jews there?
I don't know. I don't think it's postdoctoral research.
All right, very good. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the SPNI. What does it do? Where would we be without it?
Well, truthfully, one time we ran a campaign many years ago. The future of Israel depends on, ask any Israeli. The future of Israel depends on SPNI. And I really think this is true unless we all want to live in New Jersey, which frankly, having grown up mostly in New Jersey, I could tell you there are still beautiful places left, but it's so polluted and it's known for that rotten egg smell, and there's not that much left. So unless that's what we're interested in living in, unless that's the Holy Land for us, I think it's time that people who are not environmentalists, but who just say they care about Israel, put their money where their mouth is. If you love Israel, then you need SPNI. Because unless you're going to say, you know what, who needs national parks? I don't need national parks. Screw the national parks. The national parks of Israel can all be put up for public auction. Goodbye. Whoever's the highest bidder, you can have them. If that's what you think, then go ahead and continue to not, support organizations like SPNI by paying annual membership, because the truth is there's a law in Knesset right now that's going to put the national parks basically up for public auction into private hands for privatization, including Mount Masada. And what's shocking to me is how, people in Israel here, Israelis are not the biggest environmentalists in the whole world, but they are the only ones standing up for the nature in Israel, standing up for the areas where JNF trees were planted. And there's not big numbers. There's not huge numbers, The recent social protests that you heard about got big numbers, and it was shocking to people because when they wanted to pave over 6 miles of JNF forest, you got a couple hundred people coming out.
Right, I tell you what, I've got my Braveheart face paint on.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. I think everyone out there should be ashamed.
Yes, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes I feel like lots,
You're right.
Michelle, I'm trying to figure out how you got this job.
Crazy story, man.
I'm trying to figure out how you got this job. I'm trying to figure out how you managed to convince those people on the interview board that you are the person for this job.
I think you walked straight in there and said, "Give me this job. This is what we need to do. This is wrong. This is what is right, and I'll get it done." And I like that. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like that you're related to the Duracell bunny.
No, and the funny thing is, actually at SPNI, I don't help any of the things to actually happen. There are 800 employees at SPNI, and these people, they make it happen. These people are amazing, and I couldn't have the higher regard for someone like Nir Papai, the head of the Environmental Protection Division, who every day is in the Knesset harassing the people, and all his whole department, every single one of them, they attend meetings of the regional council in their area, and they attend meetings of the municipal council, and they find out what are the development plans. They are the watchdogs. They are watching out for what's going to happen with the environment. Is this a good idea?
I've got a question for you.
Idea?
I've got a question for you. I heard, or I read, that they're thinking of privatizing the national parks. Do you know about that? And what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Are they going to mess with my parks? Are they going to suddenly turn my parks into a whole urban insanity sprawl thing? What's going on with that?
Well, they're selling it as, we're turning them over to nonprofit organizations, which is going to privatize the management instead of the Nature and Parks Authority being in charge. of all the national, including heritage sites, that it would be in private hands. But that opens the door for their use as, frankly, they're already starting to commercialize things in some of the parks, which I think is okay on a small scale, like if you want to put a hot dog vendor in Hayarkon Park or something.
Right.
I'm not opposed to it,
Yeah, sure.
But I'm just saying, once you put it in private hands, then people say, well, I want to build a hotel complex here and a shopping mall there, and it's going to be all, according to the law, all the national parks. So any national park you can think of that's now under the management of the National Nature and Parks Authority,
that's a problem,
would now be in private hands.
Yeah, and they can do whatever they want with it.
Basically sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah, and they can do whatever they want with it. They could charge you, let's say you wanted to go to, I don't know, let's say the Hazan Caves. They could charge you, 50 shekels for every person that goes in there. Basically, it takes the power of the people out of the hands and gives it to a bunch of guys who want to make some money.
I'm not worried about them charging more money to get into the parks. Even when it comes to that, I think, you should be allowed to, if you can't afford it, you should be allowed to get into the national parks for free.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And the only ones who's paying to get in, it's like a suggested donation for people who can't afford it. That's what I think. But it should be everyone's right to go to the public park.
100%.
But, I'm concerned about them selling off massive parts of these public parks till there's nothing left of the public park. And that's the danger, that you let this loophole where now everything in the public park can be sold off. It's only a matter of time until there's nothing left of any of our public parks.
And how much in jeopardy are the national parks? How desperate is the situation, Michelle?
It doesn't look good. And the truth is, it's one of those issues where it's hard to get foreign support. I can tell you from all these years that I've worked with the foreign press that when I talk to people like the BBC and the CNN, Reuters, Associated Press, unless there's like Palestinians and Israelis going to head,
right? They don't want to know.
They're not going to cover it because it's not because the reporters aren't good people. They are. But they have, their definitions of what they have to do and their quotas that they have to meet.
Michelle, let me ask you this, okay? How can people help? That's the first question, okay? And what message would you like to give to the Anglo-Saxon community that are tuned into this show regarding the SPNI and what needs to be done? 2 questions.
Well, 2 things. First of all, we have a petition on the Hebrew website. I can add an English petition to the English website, which the Hebrew website is teva.org.il.
Okay.
Teva, which means nature, of course, in Hebrew. And in English, it's teva.org.il/English. So I can add an English petition, but I'm not sure. I'm curious to know how good an English petition would do, and I would love it if English speakers would sign the Hebrew petition. So that's the first thing. We need to get large numbers on the petition, and if we have a protest, we should get hundreds of thousands of people like the social protests got, and it should be clear that the people in the state of Israel care so much about the public parks that it's international news.
I'm going to take this up as a challenge, all right? And when I do that, get out of my way. I would like to know to what extent the English community cares enough about Israel and its land, because, tell you the truth, everybody yaps about Israel and Eretz Israel and everything. But as you said, let's see if the money gets put where the mouth is. Let's see how many people, and I will do my bit in getting the word out there to sign this petition. And then
you're also going to go pay your SPNI membership.
What's that? So I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
Are you paid up in full with your SPNI membership?
Well, now I will. I mean, now I cannot. and we'll see. And if there is enough people out there, then we know on that, and then we know there is awareness. If there's not enough, then we know there's not enough awareness. And then the question is what to do then. But if that is the situation regarding our national parks, then, I mean, me personally, as I said in the radio show to Steve last week, privatization of national parks. What does that mean? I got very defensive about that, and. Yeah, look, we're running out of time, and unfortunately, what we'll do is probably next week, okay, we'll have you back on the show, okay, so we can do a longer interview and talk about this issue a little bit more. Also, bring out awareness to the Anglo-speaking community, because, obviously there is a need there for that. And we will talk off air about what we can do to move this a little bit further forward, because it's something I definitely feel passionate about.
Wonderful. That's great. I really appreciate it. I think, it's time that the Anglos of Israel came forward and showed our values in the state of Israel, not just have Anglos back home representing us. I want to tell you, while I was talking to you, I was walking to the Jerusalem Bird Observatory, and I just got here, and it's dark, so there's not too much really visible unless using a flashlight, and I just saw a porcupine go by. The porcupines which are native to Jerusalem. Did you see that?
No, I didn't know that, and I actually have seen I saw a porcupine in down south near Beersheba, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. Because they are quite cute creatures.
Yeah, so shy, they're harmless.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's the same one, Michelle, but without a sense of homing.
It's gotten lost.
Michelle, I tell you, as my tip of the day for any listeners that may be out there is, if you have never been to the Jerusalem Bird Observatory, it's free, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can plant a tree here, but it'll be a tree that the birds like. And you can watch bird banding here 6 days a week, every day except for Shabbat. They're doing bird banding all morning, and they'll let you release a bird.
I'm gonna put that. I'm going there tomorrow. Actually, no, I'll probably go there. Oh no, Friday's Rosh Hashanah. Next Friday I'll do that because Friday's Teal Day.
It's a magic place. People talk to the animals here.
Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the show. I look forward to chatting to you off air.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Good night.
This is Rusty Mike Radio.
Online now.
www.rustymikeradio.com